Welcome to the first round of the European Tour here at Alton Park, the round of Great Britain. This will be a very interesting race, very fast, high-speed road course here in Alton Park. I would expect it to be one of those races where having guts will be a big factor here, as this track is not easy. There have been concerns of possibly a first lap pileup, so starting up front is going to be paramount here at Alton Park. We're not sure if everybody's going to get through the first couple of corners cleanly. This track is, like I said, very, very fast, high-speed road course. So I would highly expect this race to be one of those ones where courage will be rewarded. One of the news items leading up is that the European teams have been very quick so far this weekend. Teams based in Europe, or at least teams with some European connection. Like, for example, Petronas Honda has satellite headquarters and etc. Stuff that you'll see like that. And some of the American teams have been struggling. Anyway, let's go on to the race here at Alton Park. Kenny Maya leads the field of 42 down to the green here, and this could be a pretty wild start. We've heard a lot of drivers worried about this start. A little further back, they didn't even get to the green before Percules wrecked, and there's dirt and sand all over the place. But I think because of the... Oh, no, never mind. I see one of the quick fits is up on its side. That's Gabe Messina in the quick fit car. Vander Pesch is in, heavy damage. Scott Roush, heavy damage. A little further up the field. As we go a little further back now. And Messina Baskinger was the other car with damage. But a big lead for Kenny Maya early in this race as the Qantas cars are in second and third. Or they're fighting with Rahal for third. Or over second, really. But through the corners they go. We're going to take a look and see what happened to everybody here on that start. So as the field gets going, didn't look like Alex Allen got going there, and that actually bunched everybody up. And then what happened is, it's kind of hard to see, but a big cloud of dirt comes up and somebody gets into I think it was Noah Hart got into Percules there and couldn't really tell. We might have a chopper on it. So here it is again. We're going to see what happened here. Oh, no, it was the 8 car got into the 31, and that put Percules around. So right there, that's what started that one. Down in turn 1, the 22 of Messina was battling with his teammate Ben Atkins, local boy Ben Atkins, and around he would go. Saarinen nearly clobbered him, and a couple of cars nearly got him there, and then Baskinger would fire him into the path of Vander Pesch, and up and over Messina went, the Brazilian driver. There is Christian Vander Pesch, and I don't know how Baskinger, I think, hit that car, and I don't know how Roush got in it. We're on board with Scott Roush from 31st position on the grid. Not a great qualifying start for him, and then you're going to see, Vander Pesch went around earlier, and, it was Baskinger that Roush got into, and, I don't know if he'd fall out, but that's a lot of damage to keep going with. On lap 2 now, Aiden Shepard would get wide there, hit Saarinen, and they would fire down the track. Shelton would get into Saarinen there, and actually then Shepard would fly down the track, get into Fitzwater would get into him, and then as would Joshua Michaels. That would actually right Shepard there for a little bit, though. Early pit stop here for Sean Angel. We're not sure what's wrong with this car, but Sean Angel coming down pit road here on beginning of lap 4 here. Not a great thing to see if you're Angel right now. Ben Atkins was battling alongside of Yevgeny Kuznetsov here, entering turn 1 again, and he would slide wide into Kuzi, and Atkins would lose control. Luckily, no one would hit him, and Atkins would regain control of the car and drive it away. A little bit of contact there, I guess, with Brock, their point leader, but not enough to really substantially hurt Atkins. Just lost quite a few positions. We're on board the rear bumper cam of Kenny Myatt here. Myatt's our leader. The Buckeye Bullet, as he's known, is now doing a great job here. Ray Hall's in second, another Ohioan in second, and Kyle Collins in third, the Canadian. Fourth is Siren, fifth is Washer. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between Kuzi and his teammate Ryan Matthews. And that almost could have been bad there for the Roos Matthews team. And, well, good thing for them is that they got away with it all right there. But that could have been very, very bad there for the Subaru factory team of Roos Matthews, as they are just trying to slide their ways around this track. This track doesn't have a whole lot of grip. And as you can see, a lot of it is, a lot of dirt gets kicked up on this track and makes it quite slick. Another fan favorite outside of Ben Atkins, who lives really close to this track, is James Shelley, but his race would go pretty badly as he would grenade the Durbin Sport right there. He's had a pretty bad start to the season, however, not out of his own doing. I think a lot of it's been due to bad luck because in a practice session, Shelley's looked really competent. But tough break for James Shelley there. He would fall out of the race right there. Likewise, the same would happen to Vincent Allen, our round 1 and 4 winners at our winners at St. Petersburg and Nashville. Third place in points, only 2 points behind William Brock. Vincent Allen would also fall out of the race, so he will only be picking up 1 point. Kyle Collins would actually make a move here as Ray Hall would get onto the grass there, and Collins would make a move for second position. Now it's his job to try and catch Kenny Myatt. Battle for fifth as Ryan Griffin gets by Chris Washer, and behind him you've got the two Michigan drivers that are. Now you got Ryan Matthews trying to make a move here. Matthews is going to force Washer quite deep there. Washer's going to slide into him a bit there. Luckily, that contact didn't result in anything worse. Early pit stop for Yevgeny Kuznetsov, who had his career best finish at Nashville. Kuzi is in for tires. He did have a couple of off-track excursions, and that may have caused a puncture of some sort on a tire. I don't know, but Kuznetsov will get going again. Back here with some of the cars that got damaged somewhere in this race. DJ Curtis, Aiden Shepard, Joshua Michaels, Tomas Saarinen. Not sure why Wilhoit's back here. I guess Wilhoit pitted early. Fitzwater and Jackwater, the two Sums cars. And, well, that's the last real cars running right now. Myatt continues to lead over Kyle Collins in second, Ray Hall third, Griffin up to fourth, Washer to fifth, Matthews to sixth, Siren to seventh, Shelton to eighth, Cross to ninth. Dodd is going to come in 10th here. Brock to 11th, and 12th is going to be Charles Sanford. Kyle Collins is slowly but surely reeling in Kenny Myatt. Actually, this is becoming a more rapid reel in here. Myatt didn't set a very quick lap, and I think Collins set a blinder there. Yeah, much better there for Kyle Collins. Compared that to Myatt, and I think you're going to see that actually it wasn't as close as I thought, but Kyle Collins is doing a great job in second position, coming back from a pretty serious injury in the Indianapolis 500. Collins is doing a great job here today at Alton Park. John Art would also pit early in this race. He is trying a different pit strategy here. He's used up a lot of his tires, so came in for a new set of tires and now is on a different pit strategy. He wasn't running that high up the order in the first place, so Art trying to roll the dice a little bit here and maybe one-up everybody on pit stops. As you can see, Kyle Collins has reeled in Myatt drastically here as they enter the loop section of this track. Go down to the long loop here. It's kind of on a hill. There's kind of a blind left-hander there. You can't really see around the trees. And then there is a tight hairpin here for a right-hander. And then the rest of the track is almost to, if not full throttle the entire way. I mean, it's not full throttle the entire way, but it's a great deal of the track is on the throttle. So you're going to see here that Kyle Collins is going to catch up big here. The Mercedes has a lot more power than that Honda does. So we're interested that Collins is reeling him in very quickly here. Ryan Griffin now is all over the back of Ray Hall for third. And Rahaal's been holding him up for a while there. You can see Washer and Matthews are going to do battle a little further back. And Griffin slides wide there, but I think he is going to try and maybe get him. This is another case of where the Blue Flare's not as quick down the straightaways as the Silver Speed, but the Silver Speed will be able, but the Blue Flare will get him in the corners, kind of like the Patronus battle. Ben Atkins, the local hero, has pitted early in this race. He is going to try and maneuver a strategy here that will maybe one-up him. It's going to be hard, though. I don't think this is really a track where pit strategy is going to mean all that much, though. Kenny Myatt would bring the 9 car down pit road. Collins would as well, along with Rahal. So the lead would actually go to Ryan Griffin here, as maybe Atkins is trying to gain some spots here on strategy. As here comes a couple more cars. Noah Hart's going to gain a ton of spots here, I think. As will Chris Dodd. Dodd having a very unlucky start to the season. He's been fast, and the CJ Racing cars we know are quick because we saw what they could do at St. Petersburg. It's just Dodd hasn't had the luck. Collins and Myatt came out of the pits pretty much nose to tail now. Collins got a better pit stop here. So now we're going to see what Collins can do on the wily veteran of Myatt, who is retiring at the end of the year, Kenny Myatt is. Didn't win at Road Atlanta like everybody thought he would. Or Road My-Atlanta, as some people have called it. But this track is somewhat similar to it when it comes to these high-speed corners. There's not a lot of S-bends on it, but this track requires a great deal of confidence and talent, which Kyle Collins wasn't exactly showing that off there by sliding off the track. So Ryan Griffin from the lead pits the 83 car. Are expecting Noah Hart in second to bring it down pit road as well. And no, he's not. Oh, yes, now he is. Dodd and Perkins are coming down pit road. And then there's Kenny Myatt, who should be the provisional leader once the lead cycles out here. The interesting one here is to watch Ryan Griffin, see what happens with him. See where he slots into the order. He was battling with a couple of the other drivers. There goes first and second by. Looks like Griffin's going to solidify himself in third unless Rahal gets a good run out of this corner, and Rahal does. Rahal is going to take third back. Rahal got a great run out of the corner, and now it's once again a battle for third between Griffin and Rahal. And Collins now is going to try his best to catch up to Myatt. The big winner on that pit cycle was actually Yevgeny Kuznetsov, who pitted early. We could see how Kuznetsov gained a couple of spots. He's got it over Washer and Shelton there. Shelton gained a couple of spots there on the pit strategy as well. But now we're going to see what Washer on newer tires than Kuznetsov can do. And this is kind of where, no, Washer didn't exactly get a run there. Maybe the Roos Matthews car gets a better run down the straightaways than the Chevy. I wouldn't have thought that a Subaru would beat a Chevy in a straight. But now here comes Washer. Washer's proven to be better in the corners. And now Sanford and Sanford maybe. That might be Cross, however, back there. Yes, that is Cross. Cross and Charles Sanford now are closing in on this pack. So got to be really careful if I'm like Yevgeny Kuznetsov here. Or if you're Chris Washer, because how long do you wait to make a move? This track doesn't have a terribly large amount of passing zones on it. Like I said, passing here takes guts. The field would actually spread out as Kuznetsov would come down pit road. And now you're going to see a pretty close battle here between Cross, Shelton, and a few other cars. There is Shelton slid a bit there as Cross is going to try the outside here, entering this next corner. And this is, like I said, one of the tough things is watch where you can make moves here. This track's very momentum-based. And if you can get a good run out of corners down some of these long, fast sections of these tracks, it actually can do well. Like, for example, the outside actually was better for Cross there than the inside was for Sanford going through that kink before the hairpin. And now we're seeing Washers in the gravel, or is in the dirt again. So now you're going to see if Shelton can get a run down the straightaway. This is what we're kind of going to see here. Maybe down these long, flat out stretches of this track. Our cars trying to... Here comes a gutsy move here by Cross. That's a tight corner there. I believe that's the one of the more dangerous corners on this track, as now you're going to see Shelton's going to lose 2 spots because of Cross making an aggressive move. That was a great move by Cross there. Meanwhile, for the lead of the race, Kenny Myatt would be leading, but he would get into the gravel now, and there comes our good friend Kyle Collins to take the lead again. So now Kyle Collins is leading this race. He has set some pretty quick lap times, which Myatt hasn't been anywhere near. And now Collins is your leader. Roman Rahal in position number 3 now is the fastest car on the track. So Blue Flare, which has never won a race in the ARCSOA Elite Series, could end up sneaking a win here if Rahal keeps up this pace. And I think Rahal definitely has the speed to do this. But he's got a long way to go to catch Myatt and Collins. Collins, of course, slid wide, as does Myatt. Myatt's having some handling issues with that Petronas Honda there. Maybe this set of tires isn't as grippy as the last. The former champion of this series, Alex Allen, now has come on some hard times in his career. And that team, the PF Finland team, has been struggling ever since they got into the series, and now they're blowing up again. And, well, that's Alex Allen out of the race. Tough break for Alex Allen. Now, Ryan Griffin's the fastest car on the track. So we're seeing a lot of cars that are doing well on tire wear here. It's all very dependent, though, on how well you run here. Going off, putting 2 wheels off this track is very treacherous due to the fact that I don't think this track has seen rain in a while. A lot of it's just dirt out there, really. It's not really grass, it's just dirt. And so kicking that up isn't exactly good, and it does slow you down. And now you're going to see Griffin and Rahal possibly challenging Myatt for second. Jessica Shelton now is making a move on Sanford down the straightaways. Sanford actually has part ownership in that S3 car that Shelton's driving, so she's pretty much driving one of her bosses there. As here they go drag racing. This is a brave move here, making a move through that corner, but Shelton makes it stick. Great job by Jessica Shelton. Kenny Myatt would bring his car down pit road. He thinks he had a tire go down, but he was right at the pit road entrance when it happened. So now you're getting some cars who are going pretty slow now that you're losing tire grip here. So here comes Myatt down pit road. He has the first pit box, of course, because he was the pole sitter. And we're going to see what they're going to do. Now he's on an alternate strategy. I'm sorry, I meant to click on 3 there, not the 4. 4 is, of course, out of the race. As Kyle Collins now, he doesn't have a lot of challenge right now, but now it's up to Collins to really set some quick laps. Likewise for the 9. 9 lost a little. He was gaining time, the 9 was, but then lost it by blowing this tire. But luckily, like I said, he was right by the pit road entrance when that happened. So now it's up to Myatt to really set some blinding laps here and maybe close the gap to Collins. One of the cars that on the last strategy had a bad pit stop was Chris Dodd. Dodd is all the way down in 12th position as there comes Arndt down pit road. I don't know if he's on the lead lap. Yes, he was actually. He was on an alternate strategy. But Dodd now is... he has to come from behind because his pit crew flubbed his first stop. He is running now in the top 10. He wasn't earlier when, what's his name? And when Myatt and Arndt were up there for that matter. But Chris Dodd is doing a good job in the 08 car. At least he's still in this race, which is more than I could say about his other races. Roman Rahal from second position would pit a little bit early here. He's trying to maybe get off cycle from Collins here, maybe to gain a bit here, maybe on Myatt. And we're seeing that pitting early is going to be an interesting thing, but now it's a race between Rahal and the 9 car. Where is the 9, by the way? The 9 is coming pretty quick here, so Rahal's going to need a quick stop if he's going to get in front of the 9 here. I don't think it's going to happen necessarily, but I've seen stranger things happen. As 9 is coming, where is the 41 car? There comes the 41. It's coming out of the pits now. I think the 9 maybe lost it. Nope. 9 regains it, but the 41 is a lot closer than what he was. Meanwhile, the attention now shifts to car 3. The 3 is now... The 3 and the 82 now are the 2 cars that you need to watch now, as the 3 is pulling away from the 82. But Kyle Collins needs to pit, obviously. And now you got to see what Myatt's doing lap-wise time. Collins stays out. Myatt's doing roughly the same laps, so not a whole lot of tire fall off there. Kenny Myatt now is being held up by the 47 car. Jacob Hart's being... Oh no, Myatt's just blown it! Myatt just blew up the motor on the Petronas Honda. That's another bad luck run there from a good position. He had the same thing happen to him at St. Pete. And at Road Atlanta, for that matter, where he was taken out early on. But yes, Myatt's done. He's going to park it there, and he is out of the race. A tough break for Kenny Myatt. He won't get his first win of the season today. I guess it's something with the Ohioans today, as Roman Rahal now would grenade his motor from... he was running in provisional third before Myatt went out, and now was up to provisional second, even though he wasn't running it. And now Rahal would fall out of the race in the 41 Blue Flare car. So that puts the 41 out of the race. That's a tough break for Rahal, because Rahal's been outperformed by his teammate Brock all season. Brock's leading the points, and Rahal was going to close in today, but simply not the case. He's had a lot of bad luck this season, and looks like Alton Park will be another example of that. So, Kyle Collins has a big, big lead now over second place Ryan Griffin, who hasn't really been near Collins' pace. Ryan Matthews is in third, Washer's in fourth. Fifth position, I believe, is actually going to go to Saarinen, if I'm not mistaken. Saarinen gained a couple of spots there. Sixth is going to go to Sanford. Seventh, DJ Curtis. Eighth to John Arndt. Ninth to Pericles, and 10th to Jessica Shelton. Shelton, queen of running lower top 10, it seems, this season. She tends to be a super speedway and a larger oval track driver, and but is doing really well on these road courses. She tends to capitalize on races where a lot of people like to throw their heads out the window and drive like complete maniacs. All this calamity happening with the points contenders being Vincent Allen and Kenny Myatt is only helping William Brock, who's not having one of his better runs. He's in 17th position here. Brock not having one of his better runs, but this is helping his points haul. I do believe he'll probably lose it if he keeps running in that position, but William Brock is doing a good job. A little further back, Eichholz has made a move on Siren. But William Brock leading the points. If anybody would have thought Brock would be leading the points by round 5 of the season, just before round 5 of the season, buy that man a beer, because I wouldn't have thought that William Brock at all would have been that high up the points. In fact, Blue Flare's performance as a whole has been a lot better than I think anybody's predicted. Aiden Shepard's kind of making this life difficult for both Noah Hart and Andrew Cross here, as Shepard doesn't seem to be wanting to get out of the way, and well, that's going to hurt Hart there, and I think Hart's going to flip Shepard the bird there. Aaron Perkins would grenade the 24 car, and Perkins would well, have to be towed back to the pits. Unsure if that doesn't look like a grenade job. I'm not seeing any smoke out of it, but something's clearly amiss on the 24 car.
The car is not running right. It's overheating, and I can feel it just not, it's not getting power. Trimas, Kenny is blown up. Your teammate's blown up. Kenny's blown up. Just take it easy.
That was radio communication there between Tomas Saarinen and his teammate there, and his team crew there. They're talking about what happened with Myatt, with his teammate Kenny Myatt. And Saarinen now is the only Petronas Honda left. Long way down the order, but Saarinen is definitely... He's on a different pit strategy, though, with Yevgeny Kuznetsov. And that could end up paying dividends here if they get back on the same strategy as everybody else. It depends on how the cycle plays out, though. But, yes, there are a lot of concerns about that car overheating. Kyle Collins has opened up a simply massive lead over second place Ryan Griffin. He's nowhere even being near contended. Griffin is a long, long way back, even though Griffin, I believe, is running faster than Kyle Collins there. He is almost by a full second, but that's a long way for Griffin to catch up. A long, long way. At this rate, Tyler Thaber will finally get himself out of the negative point values and finally back into the black instead of the red. Thaber, of course, got some penalties early on in the season at St. Petersburg. A little bit harsh, if I do say so myself, considering what Trek Tauger did. Well, Trek got 5 more points added to that, but Thaber is doing his best to get himself into the black and maybe out of last place in points. He's fighting with Trek Tauger to get out of last place in points. Tauger is not running well here either.
Hey Ryan, you're right now faster than the leader. Just keep your foot in it and we'll get it into the win. We'll get the win if you keep your foot in it. You're about a half second faster.
That was Ryan Griffin's crew telling the driver of that car, Ryan Griffin, that he is slowly, as you could hear, reeling in Kyle Collins, but he's got to get by this lap traffic in front of him here. Of course, Kuzi and Saarinen, they're betting on another pit stop, but I don't know if that strategy's going to work out. Those cars haven't been fast in the first place anyway. Oh, contact there between Saarinen and Shepard, and that's actually going to help Kuznetsov get back to the bumper of Saarinen, as that happened right in front of Ryan Griffin. Griffin doesn't look too happy with Shepard there. He's kind of saw that happen. And Griffin is trying to now, he's had a lot of issues there trying to get by Saarinen and Kuznetsov. And Griffin is going to try. He's still quicker than Collins, so I don't know about this lap, though. He slid it wide there. However, as you might have been able to tell, Kyle Collins slid off the road. Now, this is where Griffin's really got to get going here, and he slid off the road, but not as much. So now, I think the chase is going to be on for Ryan Griffin, but he's got to get up the order. He's got to get by these lap cars, or at least hope that their pit strategy works out a little differently, and he can get some clear track in front of him, which Griffin's been just having issues getting by Saarinen and Kuznetsov. Chris Washer comes out of the pits he was running 4th before the pit stop strategy. There's Saarinen. Saarinen came in. Siren was in, but now here comes Shelton out of the pits as well. Actually, Tauger is going to leapfrog Shelton, so that tells you kind of how much time you can lose on the pits here. And actually, Arndt got by Shelton as well. As you can maybe tell, Kyle Collins has come in there. You can maybe have seen him off there as Ryan Griffin stays out. So now Griffin's going to have to try and set some quick lap times on old tires where Collins might struggle here. Tire heat is a thing. You do need tire heat here, but we're coming into the closing stages of this race, and I don't think Griffin's really got the car to catch him. Griffin on the pit cycle would leapfrog Kuznetsov, but not nearly leapfrog, not even get close to leapfrogging Collins. He's still got a long way to go, and Collins looks quick, just to say the least. Pretty much Collins, all he has to do is control this race a little bit more, and he will do just fine in this event here as, Griffin's getting a little bit of air taken off of him by Kuznetsov, and Kuznetsov's actually going to get track position there, so it's getting to the point where Chris Washer now is catching Griffin for 3rd, and that's not good for him, as Matthews had a pretty bad pit stop. He's down to 5th with Samper up to 4th. The battle for 2nd is beginning to heat up between Ryan Griffin, Chris Washer, and now Samper's closing in as well. Samper's, I believe, the fastest car on track right now. No, he's not. Never mind. I see that Washer really is, and Washer's really closing in on Griffin there, and Samper's throwing it wide. But now the battle for 2nd's heating up between Griffin and Washer. But like I said, Kyle Collins is so far off in oblivion that I think you need a rocket to catch him. However, Kyle Collins would pit a little bit earlier for pit stop cycles. They don't think there might be something wrong with that car. Collins is on pit road here. This is unscheduled, I think, and that's going to put Ryan Griffin in the lead of this race with Chris Washer in 2nd. Samper's going up to 3rd here. Matthews is up to 3rd here. And now Washer's got to catch Griffin. 2 American teams who weren't expected to do much now are dueling for the win. And we're on board with Chris Washer now. Washer is really closing in here on Griffin down the back straightaway here. This is becoming one of those battles now that I think we're going to remember here, as Griffin and Washer now come up and over that little hump there on the racetrack, and this is where things are going to get pretty interesting. If you're Chris Washer, do they have enough gas to make the end of the race? And was Collins just short pitting? I don't know, but I think that was unscheduled on Collins' part. Now you've got to see what Washer and Griffin are going to do here. Eddie Shumpadkar would fall out of the race with an engine grenading in his Ford Mustang. That would be all. No, I actually think there was a little bit of rear end damage there. That might have been from an earlier incident, but we'll take a look back, and if there isn't anything, if it was from an earlier incident, then we will, we obviously won't show a replay, but Padkar would fall out of the race. Padkar would blow up before the hand, and actually Eichholz would get into him, and that's where the rear end damage would come in, is you would kind of back it into the wall there a little bit, and he's rejoining the racetrack. I don't see exactly where he would have gotten that damage, unless if it was one of these two, and no, it wasn't, so a little bit of a misleading damage there. A lot of rear end damage for such a light hit. Maybe Jackwater had something to do with it. Yeah, Jackwater did. Jackwater ran into the back. That's what it was. And lucky for Jackwater, she would be able to keep going. Another British driver in the field not having a good day. Kyle Collins would fall all the way to 13th. We were hearing he was having, he didn't get all the fuel into the car. However, we're hearing that maybe some of the other cars may not be able to make it either on fuel. However, I don't see how that's going to happen, but as they just pitted. But Collins is down in 13th position. He's got a long way to go. Oh, there's Atkins. He's had a miserable day today for his home race. There's William Brock, who's slowly but surely clawed his way up the order. Dodd, likewise. There's Cross and Faber, in the top 10. Didn't expect Faber up that high either. Ryan Matthews would actually fall out of the race with an issue, as well, as they're seeing that they're working pretty hard on the right side of the car there on Ben Atkins' car. So, Ryan Matthews he was in third position but fell out with engine issues. As this run would continue on, Ryan Griffin would begin to pull a bit here on Chris Washer here. Washer is losing a little bit of that steam he had earlier. Although he is quicker than Griffin that last time by, he's got to really close in now if he's got any chance with only 2 laps to go. I don't exactly think Griffin was slouching on that lap either. As, Sanford is in second place as now Washer has to pit, so we were concerned about Washer not making it on gas, and that's kind of the case. Washer did not make it. Oh, contact there between Saarinen and Hart. Around goes Saarinen, and that's going to make his day even worse. But now the question remains, can Ryan Griffin make it on fuel around? That's Pericles by mistake. Can Ryan Griffin make it around on fuel? This is where it's going to get very interesting. Jackwater had an off-road excursion there. We'll take a look and see what happened to her. Kuznetsov would get into the back of Jackwater there and force her around and into the grass. A tough break for Jackwater. Charles Sanford is in second position despite himself never winning a race before. If Griffin can't make it around, Sanford could end up walking into his first victory here. Ryan Griffin is going to stay out. He's going to chance it. White flag for Ryan Griffin. Sanford is going to chance it as well here. Pericles, from spinning out on the start, is going to get up into third position with Noah Hart in fourth. So now we're going to see, it could be 2 silver speeds on the podium if Griffin can make it around. This would only add another second place without a victory for Charles Sanford, as Ryan Griffin is now on the backside of the course. About half the course to go now for the 82 car. Big battle for ninth here between Chris Dodd and Kyle Collins on the last lap. I don't know how this is going to end, as Dodd is doing a nice job holding off the fastest car on track, being Kyle Collins. However, Dodd would throw it off the track, and this is where Collins would get a run. On the inside, Kyle Collins would take over ninth position. Great job by Collins, pressuring Dodd into a mistake. However, Ryan Griffin, the season 11 champion of the series, would hold out for enough gas and come across the line to win the round of Great Britain here at Oulton Park. Second position is going to go to Sanford, just barely holding out on fuel there. Battle for third between Percules and Hart would rise up over the hill, but the final podium spot would go to Nick Percules. Your full finishing results are coming up. So, Ryan Griffin pulls off kind of a shocking win there. We didn't really expect him to win this race, despite him being up the order the whole day. Charles Sanford second, Nick Percules third. Great job by Percules, great recovery by him. Noah Hart fourth, great first really good result for Hart all season. Fifth, Jessica Shelton, once again capitalizing on other people's misfortunes. Sixth goes to John Arndt. Seventh goes to Tyler Thaber, getting himself out of the negatives in points. Eighth goes to Andrew Cross, the Illinois driver. Ninth goes to Kyle Collins. 10th goes to Chris Dodd, who just lost that on the last lap. Brock gets 11th. I think he'll lose the points lead after that. 12th goes to Jacob Hart. 13th goes to Sean Angel. 14th goes to Chris Washer. Washer was doing a good job all race. If he had saved enough gas at the end of the race, Washer could have possibly won this race. 15th goes to Cooper Siren, the Australian driver. 16th goes to Will Hoyt, who had a lot of misfortunes early in the race. Recovered for a 16th place, mediocre points results. Trek Tauger in 17th. 18th goes to Luca Fontana. 19th to Jay Stella. 20th to Henry Sanford. 21st goes to Yevgeny Kuznetsov, a car who had a lot of speed early on, but bad pit strategies and tire wear issues screwed him out of a good result there. Jacob Eichholz, I think, finally gets his first finish of the season in the Action Terra. 23rd goes to Lucien Echtel, who ran out of gas on the pace lap, or on the cooldown lap. Joshua Michaels comes across the line 24th, and the final non-1 point scoring spot goes to DJ Curtis in 25th. Curtis was also the first car one lap down. Besides that, everybody else would score only 1 point for starting the race. Anyway, it was a great race. We'll see you at the Scandinavian Motorsports Park at Karjala next week.